Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this evening broadcast. Today being the 26th of September 2024. Just a couple of days, we will be in the month of October. That will be the last quarter of 2024, and it means the year is almost coming to an end. The year is already folding. So today we will be looking at a couple of issues. We would start with the controversial issue now that is known as the VeryDarkMan video slash audio, revealing what happened when BobRisky was arrested. Regarding first money laundering, second um, abuse of naira. But suddenly, one of those charges was dropped. If you recall, I don't know if you have listened to that video, but if you recall from the video released by Very Dark Man, he clearly stated that money changed hand, that Bobrisky didn't stay in prison for 6 months as was, we were told, the public was meant to believe. Now, in all this, I think, as I said yesterday, we should be very careful how we say certain things. And I think there are areas I personally believe that Very Dark Man didn't act wisely, or he could have done differently. If I was in his shoes, I mean, these are things you do over time, you get better at them. As in terms of the insinuations he made between the son of that's the Falz, the son of Femi Falana, being in the same league with Bobrisky. But again, yesterday evening, Falz wrote and demanded that Very Dark Man should apologize for that insinuations and innuendos. And Deji Adeyanju, the lawyer representing Very Dark Man, I tell you this, within 48 hours, a lot has happened. Within 48 hours, Deji Adeyanju also wrote saying that no, his client in this case made no error, that there is no need to apologize. Now, the question is, what is your take? Where is all this thing heading to? We will have to take a step back, take this one step at a go. We will arrive at something that would eventually, I may not have faith as to how the state might take the report, because the minister in charge of the interior minister, Tunji Ojo, has issued a statement saying that these must be investigated, and some people already has been, some people have been suspended, irrespective of the fact that people are already suspended for this case. People to investigate this are on ground. I saw some names in the people that will do the investigation. I say, "Wahala there," because there are names I saw there, people who are, irrespective of the fact Nigeria is jaga jaga, but there are people with impeccable character. One of them is on that list, and I do not believe that being on that list that they will compromise. Where my fear is, irrespective of what the outcome is, what would they do? This is a country where we had a minister, Betta Edu, do the things she did. She was suspended, and the recommendation was made. Was that recommendation implemented? What is then the outcome of the whole thing? Where is Betta Edu today? We don't know. On the other hand, we would also look at the eminent cabinet reshuffle. Who are the ministers that are working? Who are the ones just sitting down there collecting salary? You know them, you know them. I do not think we have more than four. Hold on. Diabu Uku Shida. We don't have more than 4 working ministers. Other ones, salary that they collect. But let's kickstart as usual with the Arise crew. In Abuja, no, that's Lagos, not Abuja. So let's start with the Arise crew, because this case that we're about to discuss also made it to what's trending early this morning.
Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending in Nigeria. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Nigerian Correctional Service have been implicated in a bribery scandal that has set social media abuzz on Tuesday. A social media influencer who goes by the name VeryDarkMan posted a video which revealed an audio recording allegedly made by popular cross-dresser BobRisky, saying that he had bribed some officials of the anti-graft agency with 15 million naira to drop the money laundering charges against him before he was sentenced to 6 months in prison on April 12th for abusing the naira. BobRisky also allegedly claimed in the audio recording that he never spent a night in prison and that Femi Falz, a senior advocate of Nigeria and the father of popular musician Falz, was hired to secure a presidential pardon for him in exchange for 10 million naira. BobRisky has, however, denied all the allegations in a post on Instagram on Wednesday, saying that the audio recording is fake.
Hey Africa, did you know that you can earn money from YouTube?
When I hear something like this, when people basically say, I think that's the lame excuses that we give these days when something kind of goes when we are thoughtless in some things and we do certain things, and you will hear, oh, it is AI generated. It's become the norm now, just to hear, oh, this is AI generated, this is actually not real. There is no way. People, if you listen to that audio, I mean, I've listened to it a couple of times. Anyone with gray matters in between the skulls will know that this is the person in question. But again, we are where we are, that irrespective of the fact that we know that this is the person that spoke in this place, one thing that she, in as much as she is denying this, one thing that has become apparent also is for the fact that Falz actually put context to what VeryDarkMan played in that audio makes more sense. Therefore, validating the fact that this is actually BobRisky in that audio. Let's play on.
I was on my way to the prison. Then my godfather called me and said, "You will not enter that prison, don't worry." Then
you not enter that prison, don't worry. That gives a hint who that godfather could be. It means that this is, a godfather. No, let me not commit the same sin of. Let's just stay on the plank of a godfather. Let's not take that.
Me make arrangements for an apartment close to the prison. It's going to call the controller in that's overall in Nigeria and Abuja, and I'm talk to them. The Shah talk before I come back, Shah. Then I took me to one apartment that I must not come out till I finish my sentence. That the Oga said they should come out. The Oga said they should come and keep me here. That I mustn't go enter data, but nobody should know that I'm not there.
Yes.
So they said the guy will collect money.
All right. I mean, this has caused a lot of frenzy on social media. There's a person that they said was implicated, Haliru Naba, who's a controller general of the Nigerian Correctional Service. That was one of the names that was called in that audio recording. Again, it's still an allegation. Well, VeryDarkMan's post, which has since gone viral, has caught the attention of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission and the Ministry of Interior. Both agencies have ordered an immediate investigation into the allegations. The post has also caught the attention of Falz, who on Wednesday demanded a 24-hour retraction from VeryDarkMan for defamation after he claimed that Falz may have been complicit in the scandal and also questioned his sexual orientation. All right, of course, we know that Falz is the son of a senior advocate. He's already gone to social media to post his retraction demand from VeryDarkMan. If I can read some of the excerpts of that letter. Let me pull that up. To set the record straight, our client never at any point initiated a conversation with Mrs. Idris or Mr. Idris Okuneye. Our client has documentary evidence that Mr. Idris was in fact the one who initiated a call. Specifically, on the 4th of May, 2024, Mr. Idris, aka BobRisky, contacted our client requesting a phone conversation with him. Our client obliged, having knowledge of the Naira abuse charges levied against him and genuinely believing he might require legal advice. Mr. Idris, aka BobRisky, called shortly after, but instead of soliciting legal advice, stated that he was in distress and needed financial assistance of about 3 million naira, which he claimed he needed to pay some officials to be permitted to stay in the VIP section of the correctional center. In the letter, Falana asked for a public apology to be published across all platforms where the false defamation was disseminated. The letter added that there should be a retraction and apology to be issued within 24 hours or would pursue legal actions, including claims for monetary damages. There was another statement that was in that letter, which was the main defamation. Falz had said, without contacting our client, you went ahead, that is VeryDarkMan, to publish a careless statement containing multiple allegations, including an insinuation that our client is involved in a homosexual affair and intended to get a presidential pardon for Mr. Idris Okuneye. Very dark man, very dark man.
Well, this is obviously you've seen it from VeryDarkMan in a very dark situation now, because this situation is dark. And here are the points. I think if VeryDarkMan stayed on the, if I had such audios, if you wanted to stay neutral, if you don't want any legal action your way, these are things you get in training. It would have been nice and better you played the audio. That means you're doing the job of whistleblowing. Actually, here, this is doing the job of a debt collector. Because ask yourself, VeryDarkMan did not publish what he published as, just because he wanted Nigerians to know what is happening, that he wants justice to be done. No. VeryDarkMan published and made that video because someone approached him that BobRisky was owing him 4 million naira and said he or she wouldn't pay. You can do your worst. Now, two things stands out here. Please, let it be a lesson to you watching me now. When you push a goat to the wall, the goat can also bite. This will, these communications, these informations will not be out here. These conversations, these discussions will not be happening if BobRisky had paid the 4 million naira that he owed. If BobRisky didn't say, you can do your worst, and the guy has done his worst. As this thing is going now, it could actually be that after the suspension, after the investigation, some people may be sacked. And he may be, even after the sacking, she, BobRisky, may go back. I'm just insinuating, because of one stubbornness. There is nothing you can do. Do not tell another human that he can do nothing. He can't do shit. People just say it like that. You don't do what he could do now. Yesterday, same BobRisky called the same person multiple times, paid the same 4 million. But by the time he has paid that same 4 million, water don't pass Gary. Let's listen.
Violent. He has actually responded, Ayo. I watched his post. I believe it was on YouTube. And he talked about the fact that, he did not accuse Falz of anything, but you heard in that video, if you all heard that video clip, he did insinuate that Falz may have been homosexual. But I think the big story here is the accusation, really, of the EFCC officials and the Nigerian Correctional Facility. I would like to start with Dr. Abati, really, on this conversation.
Okay, I mean, this is a very disturbing thing.
Yeah.
The first point we must admit is that all the parties involved have been saying, oh, I didn't say this, I didn't say that. First, social media interaction, electronic interaction, that's what we have seen. First, to establish that people must know that what you do on a phone or internet or computer and all that, the evidence is admissible in law in Nigeria. Section 84.
Abati, calm down. I know you're a lawyer. The evidence is that admissible in court, except when IREF and INEC is involved, then it becomes inadmissible. So go on.
Of the Evidence Act of 2011, and also Section 258 of the Evidence Act, and also we have the book on electronic evidence in Nigeria. The one of the authorities that I know is that of Justice Alaba Ajileye. So nobody should say, oh, it's not my voice, it's this and that. The court can admit the evidence and investigate it. That's number one. Number two is that VeryDarkMan, I think his name is Victor Esse. Yes. He has said, oh, is it Martins? Martins Esse, whatever. That, oh, he didn't say those things. He just asked a question that is Falz also. No, there's something in law called innuendo.
Absolutely.
If you just make any unnecessary innuendo that is defamatory per se, you can be called to question. And it is on the basis of that counsel to Falz, that's Mr. Falano Jr., Falana Falano, has said there should be a retraction. What he has said, through his lawyer, Dejade Yonju, that, oh, he didn't say so. Well,
no, but it's on record.
He will have, if Falano decides to go to court, he will have to go and defend himself. Yes. Number three, he also alleged that Femi Falano, SAN, was involved in this attempt to procure pardon. In terms of the implication for the justice administration system in Nigeria, that's a very serious matter. Yeah. In that same video, there was evidence, the allusion that BobRisky, his name is Idris Okuneye, was said to have been sentenced to prison. First, that he procured the reduction of the charges. Yes. And second, that a certain godfather intervened, and that instead of going to prison, they paid a certain controller general, and he stayed in a flat. These are very disturbing things about the justice system in Nigeria. But I've seen people who say anything is possible here. After all, we were in this country when a certain person, who shall remain nameless, was imprisoned, and his wife, he impregnated his wife from prison. And in fact, there was a naming ceremony.
You know why I'm laughing? The person in question spent time, incidentally, with Abati Olisametu. At the time, the moment Goodluck Ebere Jonathan left office, the person in question spent time with Dr. Abati in Kuje prison, and eventually the person's wife, whose husband is in prison and who is supposed to be at home, got pregnant, and they even celebrate Nigeria. What Nigeria cannot do does not exist.
While he was still in prison, how did he get to a position where he impregnated his wife?
Immaculate conception.
Immaculate conception. This is where I want you to come in, Rufai, really quickly, because this is the bigger conversation. The fact that, our prison system is, allegedly so porous. I mean, if you had seen some reports from FIJ, Fushayo Soyombo, he had posted different, there was a time he spent in jail. He went undercover, and he did reveal damning evidence about the fact that our prison system It's like this.
So that report is out there, and the question is, what will the Minister of Interior do? So
Yes,
generally, he has said that they will order an investigation. We'll see the outcome of that investigation. There are some.
Anyway, before Abati goes on here, the minister has ordered the investigation, and obviously they had this conversation in the morning. But here you can also see this is the outcome of the, or rather the press release issued to that effect. And in this press release, you can see here, Civil Defense Correctional Fire and Immigration Services Board suspend airing officers, now officers. That means more than one person, of the Nigerian Correctional Service, NICOS, following the viral video trending on social media on alleged interactions by officers of the Nigeria Correctional Services relating to Mr. Idris Oguneye, widely known as BobRisky. The Civil Defense Correctional Fire and the Immigration Services Board has suspended forthwith the following senior officers of the service. 1. Michael Anungwa, Deputy Controller of Corrections, DCC, in charge of Medium Security Custodians Center, MSCC, Kirikiri, Lagos, and 2. Sikiru Adekunle, Deputy Controller of Corrections, DCC, in charge of Maximum Security Custodial Center, MSCC, Kirikiri, Lagos State. Also, the board has suspended ASC to Obule Samuel Obinna, serving as the Medium Security Custodial Center, MSCC, Afibo, Ebonyi State. Maybe he was in Lagos, and I don't know how Ebonyi State came into this. For the alleged accompanying a convicted inmate out of custodial center to a location outside the facility. You see, even BobRisky in different other this thing has actually said that she was. Why did I say she? No, he was taken to a VIP. Now it's making sense that this VIP is actually not a VIP within the correctional center, but a flat. Recall that when she came to the, stop saying she, recall that when he came to the court, he wore hijab, right? So it could be that this is, they put on certain things like that. You don't know who is behind the veil or the mask. So that could have been a way of, extracting the person out. Now, in another related development, the board has equally suspended another senior officer of the service, Iloafunsing Kevin Ikechukwu, Deputy Controller of Correction, DCC, in charge of Medium Security Center, Kuje, Abuja, for allegedly receiving monies on behalf of an inmate. Wow. The suspension of these officers is to allow further investigation on the various allegations while assuring that the outcome will be made public when concluded. Signed, Jafaru Ahmed. Now, this is, in this one swoop, four deputies were suspended, so that we get this right. So let's go back here and listen to this. Then we'll come back to the constitution of these body that will investigate this. Then we'll look at the individuals also involved. Now, if this is your first time of joining us here at Njenje Media TV, please, I beg you. Many of us are watching this now, but not many of us have liked this stream. Please like this stream, share it. Just click on the share button, click on the like button, share it with others so that they can join us. Eventually, if you also want to speak, we can allow you to come in either by phone or by joining us via the virtual studio. However you wish, we can do that. Just please like and share, please. Okay, so let's come back to...
Also waiting for the EFCC as regards to 15 million that was said to be given to some EFCC officials to be able to give them, to be able to drop those charges of money laundering.
Yes.
Because all of us too were surprised when that thing happened, because all of a sudden it was money laundering charges plus Naira flunking.
Yes.
Then all of a sudden money laundering dropped. Yeah. Then it was just only Naira flunking before it went in for this. then also we will have to have investigations deeply, because we've heard a lot of complaints, especially as regards the prison service, what goes on there. In fact, we've had like 2 people bring letters officially that I have sent to the minister himself as regards the state of our prison and what is really going on there. So we'd like to get to the end of the matter. As regards the VeryDarkMan revelation, if BobRisky is saying that he didn't say all those things, I think we also need to have a private investigation where we subject BobRisky's voice to forensics.
Yes, because there's
so that
AI,
we can get so that we can get a full forensic outlook as regards what happened. And as regards Falz writing that letter saying they should retract, you know, when you look at VeryDarkMan's what's it called, expose, there were some things he needed to have been careful on.
Exactly.
I think just playing the audio will have been adequate.
My point too.
A lot of mistakes were made in the analysis, where he went ahead to cast suspension and say, oh, this person is defending this person, so they shouldn't go that way. Like Dr. Wati said, he left room for innuendos there.
So, you know, like
could this piece of land
as you can see,
transform your business?
You know, let's go. Like before I said there, I mean that was exactly my thought, that he could have done better. I mean, don't get me wrong. I like what VeryDarkMan does. He really gets into this and brings these things to public glare. But I think also, you know, these are learning curves that there are times you let the third party visuals that you have do the talking, and you know, because obviously he knew that this was going to, because of the people involved now, that EFCC were involved, the correctional services were involved, and that a senior advocate that many people, you know, really like and many people respect, myself included, a man who respected the Afrobeat legend Fela Anikulapo Kuti many times. A man that, if we're Ganifa Emi to be alive today, you know, you can obviously understand where the direction that is going. So in all this, that you now begin to, you know, that he made that reference that he made as to that is where the whole thing began to get gaelic, you know, as we say in Nigerian street parlance.
Because when you read Falz rebuttal, he now gave a full context to the conversations, saying that they were even telling them that you don't need to pay for any part.
No, not for any part, for the VIP section. The only conversation they had was a 3 million naira conversation,
whatever. So he gave VIP. Some clarity as regards the context in that.
Exactly my point before. Now, because Falz in his letter has given more clarity and context to the allegation made by VeryDarkMan, this, if logic is to be applied, that means this conversation, this telephone conversation took place. Therefore, this, with logic, have to invalidate the argument of BobRisky that this is not my voice. That's my point.
That matter. But all of this too is not ending, because you know all of this really started because of money.
Yes.
The person that released that audio to VeryDarkMan was being owed money by BobRisky.
Yes.
And the money has been paid. And VeryDarkMan says he's not going to release the audio.
Wait, has the money been paid?
Yes, the money has been paid, 4 million naira.
Yes,
he showed the updates. In fact, BobRisky was calling the person and was even willing to pay. So the money has been paid. I think to get to the nitty-gritty of this matter, because me, I love Wawulens. VeryDarkMan said more names were mentioned in the part B of the audio. VeryDarkMan, we beg you, with everything we owe, for the integrity and the safety and the love we have for this country, you must release that part 2 of that audio.
We need it.
We need it. Absolutely. We need to be able to hear more names. We need to be able to get to the end of this matter.
Yes.
Maybe in that part 2, we will know the godfather that procured the flat apartments.
All right. Well, all right.
That called the controller.
Well, all right.
Maybe we will also know other skeletal Indomie activities.
I think Rufai is learning so much from Ruben Abati, because you can see how Ruben Abati, when it comes to the conversations of the Zaza room, his eyes get glowed and just start shining so bright. Now, this is the second letter by the minister here. Let me take this part of that letter. This is the letter sanctioning the probe of this, but here is the one that I want us to take a look at. The paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth paragraph says, the minister has set up a special investigation panel headed by Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior, Dr. Magdalene Ajani, to probe these allegations and submit a comprehensive report. Other members of the committee includes Dr. Uju Agomo of Prisoners Rehabilitation and Welfare Action, PRAWA, who will serve as the secretary, who will serve as the secretary, Mrs. Eva Omotose, Director of Legal, Ministry of Interior, Mr. Usman Nasiru, Director of Joint Services, Ministry of Interior, and Dr. Ikechukwu Ezugu, Consultant Ike of Brekete Family. When I read this, if you have been following our channel, if you have been following Ginger Media on the things we stream every Thursday, that is on ethnic hatred, powered by the Ministry of Interior. There are names here that when I read that, I said, I have the confidence that these names here will do the job. But I do not know if after the job is done, how that will eventually. I don't know. Right? So no, guys. Rufai, I disagree. BobRisky had has disowned the audio, but by the fact that Falz admitted that conversation happened, but gave context to that conversation, means so you can hear me. Can you hear me? What happened now? Can you hear me, guys? No sound. Oh, sorry. What happened? Hold on, guys. Can you hear me? Can you hear me now? Okay, thank you. So my point is, my point of disagreement with what the Arise crew just said now. I don't know if you heard this. Let me play this again. Sorry if you couldn't hear me before. I don't know. Well. Only a court of law. Oh, you can hear me, but you can't hear what they are talking about. Oh, I see. Only a court of law. You can see, what they are saying. They're saying that only a court of law can determine. So my point is, if it is only a court of law that can determine, that is secondary. The primary thing here for me is very simple. Let me play that part again. I believe their own audio will be fixed now. Sorry about that.
Recall that the reason why he released this audio in the first place was almost tantamount to blackmail of BobRisky.
Yes.
That's another angle, because he told BobRisky that if you don't pay me the money, I will release. Yes. And then he recorded that audio without the knowledge, I want to assume, of BobRisky.
Yes.
So there's another thing around there as well, on the side of BobRisky, that there's blackmail, elements there.
But Mario, we can only say that because BobRisky has denied the audio. We can only say that if it is confirmed
he's the one. So I'm giving you a way out, Mr.
No, if it's confirmed by forensic expert, that's actually BobRisky's audio. Then we'll now go into privacy laws.
Yes, exactly.
Because that one too, we cannot, because people also do it in our country. You have conversation and they record your conversations.
Yes, okay, well, all right.
Only a court of law can determine
all of this.
Anyway, now my point here is, irrespective of the fact whether the court of law determines or not, that if you apply common sense, by the fact that Falz, who in the video was accused, had already admitted that this conversation happened, however, provided more context to that. So, BobRisky and these events already happened. So BobRisky in this sense cannot go ahead, be denying something already acknowledged by alibi, somebody who is ought to probably be providing an alibi. So that's the point. Now, on a second listing, now we have this where when we talk about the current administration, we talk about ministers. Who do you think is doing well in this government? What are they doing? There are a couple of ministers that are doing well, because there is this news coming out now that the current government in the next couple of days will be having a government or ministerial reshufflement, that some ministers will be let go while some will now come in. So in this case, you will now have this here, where we will now begin to look at this is a conversation between, again, Arise and Dr. Sam Amadi, a very brilliant lawyer, a friend, who basically had the following to say.
Performances of the ministers since assumption of office. Dr. Sam Amadi, good afternoon. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you, and good afternoon.
Now, of course, President Tinubu's administration is relatively new, and this reshuffle is already being considered. Just wondering what you think this suggests about the initial cabinet selection process and the administration's governance strategy.
Our headquarters is located in Shenzhen, where we have over 30 performance stores.
Obviously,
and we have a sister company.
We can see what one of the things that they've said here is that the Tinubu's government is young, and they're already considering reshufflement. Now, the question that comes to mind here is it as a result of mistakes made ab initio? On Twitter, for instance, some people are already saying that there is the likelihood that Babatunde Fashola will come in to replace Femi Gbajabiamila. And some are saying, obviously, other ministers. There are so many of them that there are ministries that if someone asks you now, who is the minister, I bet you wouldn't know who the hell the minister is. Apart from those, like Minister of FCT, hate him or like him, there are some works. The last time I was in Abuja a couple of weeks ago, I mean, honestly, he's doing some impressive work. And I entered a couple of taxis randomly, both northerners, his own people from south, both people from mid belt, people from the southeast, some Yorubas, and you ask them what do they think. 90% of the time, the taxi drivers will tell you, man, they will name the roads, he's done this, he's done this, he's done this, he's done this, he's done the other one, but please, he should leave Rivers State alone. Okay? If you understand that, what it means is that people who live in Abuja, if you live in Abuja and you think he's not doing anything, honestly, you're also free, you are at liberty to come in. This is a live program. We'll bring you in. You tell us whether he's doing anything or he's not doing anything. So let's just have to listen to this.
Process and the administration's governance strategy.
Well, I think two things. Maybe first, the way things have turned out, the challenges probably they didn't quite get to understand how complex or how difficult the challenges will be. So maybe didn't fit the personnel to the problem. And so better late than never. And so, reassessing the challenges, maybe they fancy some other kind of competencies that they need to drive, the economy and the other sectors to where they want it to be. So this could be learning by doing. So midway, you correct course, you upgrade, you review. In another way, you can also say that maybe they didn't quite prepare well enough, they didn't quite exercise the level of foresight and rigor in empaneling the team in the first place. So this is, your error catching up with you, or presumption catching up with you. Either way, I think it's better late than never.
All right. Well, of course, as expected, speculation season has begun. That's what happens during these periods. And I can only imagine the amount of lobbying happening behind the scenes. However, I did read one report that implied that the only ministries that are safe in this reshuffle, or the ministers rather, the Minister of the FCT, the Minister of Works, that would be Dave Umahi, and the Minister of Interior, Tunji Ojo. This is according to this particular report. In your own assessment, which ministries would you say should remain untouched?
I think if we take that question, I would be thinking beyond what they said. That if I look at Tunde Ojo, hate him or like him, the guy came in, met a lot of backlog in terms of passport issuance, and unclogged things that were clogged with, within the wheels. I did my passport and I paid 72,000 naira, the official fee. Used my hand, photocopied everything. I paid not a single person. They said it will come out in 3 weeks. In 3 weeks and 4 days, I got a text message that I should come and collect my passport. I wasn't in a hurry. Now, me and them did this country. I know they go anywhere. So, my kids went. We did the same thing. The younger ones, 25,000 per person for 5 years. The one I did for 70, I did 64 pages or 68 pages, I can't remember, the 10 years validity one anyway. So for 72,000. The other one, 25,000. And after exactly 3 weeks, I got another text message. The passport is ready at the passport office. Okay, come and collect it, blah, blah, blah. So what am I saying in essence is, to many people who live in the diaspora, to many people who live in the places where things are working, it might seem not to be it might look like, I beg, now this thing we're on the talk. But sadly, we live in a place where everything, even when you have the money, is made to be very difficult. But in this case, sadly, again, this is one man who has, made that happen. People in diaspora, apart from lack of booklets sometimes, but people in London will tell you that for the first time, they can actually go and apply, and they have their passports sent to them the way they do with their British, German, Spanish, American passport after application. You go home, and they will now send these things to you. So in this case, if that is the case, I would think that this guy, the Tunde Ojo of a man, is one of those that, if you ask me, he would he has done a good job. I haven't met him. I don't know him. So I have no horse in the race. If you also look at the Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, boy, the guy is everywhere. If not for anything, at least remedial work. If I look at what he has done and what Fashola did in 8 years, I think, the guy is a magician. so to say. If you look at the way he has done the third mainland bridge with speed, with quality, unbelievable feat. You know, again, you need to put things. When I say these things, I say them within the context that this is Nigeria. We're not talking about England. We're not talking about Germany. Either are we talking about other places. We are saying within the context that this is Nigeria. Then you come to who again? I don't know. Maybe Festus Keyamo. Some of the things, but I would have expected more from. Okay, I would have expected more result from him now, because Festus Keyamo, he actually had done certain things that I never gave him chance to. I thought he's a lawyer, he doesn't understand the aviation sector, but he has delayed also more on fixing the damages done by Hadisirika. So I don't know, you know, for me, I would say 4 of them, but let's see what the expert will say on this. But for me, I think not more than other ones are just, you know, with Wike, obviously Wike making them 4. If not, every other
well,
person
the key word there should, not probably would. But again, we should bear in mind that presidents shuffle teams for many reasons. The more rational, we would assume, would be performance. You know, these guys didn't quite deliver, or these guys delivered, so performance will be a key indicator. But oftentimes, loyalty and prospective political outcomes. You know, this is unfortunately the way we do our own governance. A year afterwards, we are into politics. So we might know who stays or who goes may not be determined by performance. But yeah, I think if you look at the Tory or those who are said to be safe, there could be logic for it. Minister of Immigration, I think Interior, no matter some of the issues about corruption, you know, linked with the humanitarian ministry woman, and of course some allegations about what goes on, who gets what from the passport issues. Apart from that, one could say we've seen movement, we've seen efforts, we've seen, of course, also able to engage publicly, communicative-wise. So he's quite done something good enough to say, if you look at these ministers, he should stay. If you look at FCT minister, I mean, we've seen upgrades in some of the roads in the FCT in terms of city. In my view, those optics count. So the elites who drive from point A to B and see that you are grading and making smoother those roads would definitely feel, oh, it's working. But then again, just like happened in Port Harcourt, in my view, or River State, you look at the FCT and say, is it transforming? Are you seeing maybe broadbands, lights across the suburbs, security being contained? Are you seeing, you know, roads that are not in the city centers being open new roads, upgrade them? This is a time of flooding. Are you seeing proactive management of those impacts in terms of those who live outside the Sokoro, who say Gariki area? In my view, no, we're not seeing any of those. Is it a city having an identity in terms of a city that can attract human capital, attract, you know, in terms of maybe dealing with congestion, traffic, the basic city things that make a city the source of wealth creation, you know, that make city branded, that brands one city different from the other. People can come in and say, look, this holiday we would like to come to Abuja from West African countries. Is Abuja becoming that kind of poster child? No. But again, roads have been upgraded, you know, scaled up, remove the surface and redone. So yeah, those optics, and of course the important political work I think he's doing for the presidency in reducing and almost emasculating PDP. He's a banker to be on that team. Umahi arguably has done better than most, you know, in terms of the many of the roads projects that the government has flagged. His energy moving around. Is doing well with media. It's actually at least reading out engagements, roads they're going to do. Now, after some time, we'll go back and say how well they've done and so on and so forth, look at value for money, then that's when you do more rigorous, deeper review. But many Nigerians and many commentators will not do that. So Dave Umahi will pass for those who have performed in that context. So I think those three persons, I could bet my money that they will be in the team. For the politics, they are close to the president, and some of them have key work to do for the president politically, and they have done more than average compared with others in terms of optics and some level of articulation of policy and program delivery.
Duly noted, Dr. Amadi. Now, there's some criticism that cabinet reshuffle is more about political calculations as opposed to performance. Just wondering how much of this potential reshuffle you think is driven by political considerations as opposed to genuine performance issues.
Feels like forever.
So when we the question that she posed, there is the tendency that many people could actually argue that this is driven more by political calculation as opposed to, like he noted, it is likely that Umahi will come. Obviously, trying to court the Southeast, and he gave up his senatorial seat for him, so it might be unhealthy just to let him be in the dark. Look at Wike. Wike is also needs to be kept close in order to keep the PDP busy to 2027. That the PDP, anytime they want to come together and do something, he comes in and scatters everything. Just look at what is happening in Rivers State. Rivers State is conducting a local government election. The PDP people, that's the Fubara's team in Rivers State, cannot even contest in PDP. They had to migrate. Everybody moves into APP. Now, I mean, what's happening in Rivers State is just pure madness, pure madness. But hey, this is Nigeria, where things that doesn't make sense happen, and things that make sense appear to be extraordinary acts, right? Again, without belaboring and regurgitating these issues, these are the points I think that are on this. So people, now when we go back and look at these things happening, you can look that there are other things trending, right? Things are trending. The one that says that he's a table shaker, that he shakes table, blah blah blah. That people are now beginning to say that that Reno Omokri is being considered to replace Ajure Ngalare, who left for personal reasons. And some of you are saying that the reason why Ajure left was that he was tired of lying. Okay, and well, let's see. If Reno joins Tinubu, that will be wonder of this world, because there are things Reno said, against the man that you would think, what on earth is happening, And the rumor is getting to a point that it's beginning to trend. So if you look at what's trending today, or rather what's trending this evening, you will see Reno trending on multiple places on the Twitter space, on the Twitter streets, today, right? So now, if you go back again and if we check on what's trending on the Twitter again, aside that Reno is trending, we can also see other things trending, like the Minister of Interior, Tunji, who also read the letter that he wrote, saying that this must be investigation. This is the letter here, the letter that I previously addressed. And incidentally, the minister was with VeryDarkMan. I don't know when this photo was taken, but that's the Minister of Interior here, and that is the VeryDarkMan too on that screen. So if you understand this, let's see if we can understand and have an audio of what they said here.
Right, so this man you're seeing as I'm putting my hands on his shoulder, this is the Minister of Interiors, Olabumi Tunji Ojo. Did I get that right? Yeah. Olubumi Tunji Ojo. So, if you remember, a few months ago, I just said something like that. The prison, because I was locked up in the prison, and then I just extended what I saw in the prison. I said, okay, the tap inside is bad, there's no water flowing and everything. I called him out, and then he called me back and he said, Vidian, don't worry, you see changes. As I speak to you now, you can go to Abuja prison, they give you access, enter and see the changes he has done. So this man, I will stand by him any day, anytime. I will stand with him, because I don't see nobody bring change, nobody one or two. I'm not campaigning for him more. I'm just saying I can easily come and say, sir. And also with the international passport, a lot of changes have been done. The man is really working, so I appreciate you. Thank you very much, my God. God bless you. So any other time, I'll still come. I'll be coming into this place anytime. God bless you. Thank you.
So obviously, that was when VeryDarkMan came out of prison. So you can see that is trending. There is another trending video. There is another trending video where one of the senators from Adamawa, the sex toy senator, was accused of abusing some ladies, and he was today in the studio of Brekete family and had his day, and and defended himself. So aside that, Reno, Deji, obviously Deji is trending because of his letter. Then finally, before I leave you guys this evening, let's also look at why Governor of Anambra State is trending, Governor Soludo. Okay, so Abka. And bear in mind that next week, I think this weekend, there is going to be a local government election. Now, people are already mocking us, saying that this is the Japan, Japan that he promised us. This is the Japan here.
One name, Kedo. N'afọ gara aga, anyị bịara n'obodo a nke bụ Nnewi nke dị na Anambra State ịkpọpụta gọvanọ ha bụ Prọfesọ Soludo gbasara ụzọ na-adịrọ mma. Anyị abịakwa ọzọ n'afọ a, mana ihe na-ebe ka na-ebe. Ụzọ nke anyị gosipụtara ya si anyị abịa rọra maka na ebe a ka na-akpọ Japan of Africa, obodo na-emepụta ihe dị iche iche n'obodo Anambra State, obodo na-ewepụtakwanụ ego, na-enyekwanụ gọvanọ na-emepụta ihe n'obodo a, mana lekwa ụzọ ha ọ bụ ihe na-adị aga. Anyị abịakwa ọzọ n'afọ a na-akpọkwa ya oku ọzọ, ya biko bịa rọra ndị a ụzọ ha n'ụzọ a adịrọ mma. Ebe a wee ebe na-emepụta ihe dị iche iche, ihe a obodo dị mma, ya bịa ka ọrụ ụzọ a ka ụzọ abụrụ ihe a na-aga. Ile anya moto ndị mmadụ na-emebisi ebe a, onye ọbụla na-eselukwu elu ịhụ na ha na-aga, onye ọbụla na-eti mkpu na-akpọkwanụ ya oku, ya bịa rụziere ha ụzọ a. Anyị na-elekwa anya ya na-ekwekwe na ọfụ ozi anyị zitere ya na ọ ga-abịa rụọ ụzọ a. Ndewonu. Dịka bịa gosicha ụzọ Nnewi nke na-adịrọ mma, gọvanọ ha bịa rụọ ụzọ nke gbagoro ndị Nnewi hotels. Ebe anyị nọ kịta bụ Nkwọ ọ rụrụ nke na-aga dị Nnewi hotels, mana ọ rụrụ ụzọ nke na-aga ebe a na-azụ afịa. Ọ pụtara na hotel ka afịa nke na-enye ya ego dị mma ka o nwere ihe ọzọ. Ya biko bịa rụọ ụzọ Nnewi nke jegoro ebe afịa ha nọ ka ha hụ ụzọ ha ji aga ahịa ma mekwana ihe ọzọ nyere ha ụbọchị ọbụla.
I like her Igbo. So she's basically saying that they were there last year and and beckoned on the governor to come and do some roads, and these roads, some of them are not yet done. Now, what will happen is that I would publish a video that I recorded myself in Anambra State. Let me see if I can finish that this weekend. That video is my visit to Oboko, the slum of Anambra State. And there are roads he has done there. I mean, there is no gainsaying. Because what we do here is to stay on facts. If things are done, we'll say them. If things are not done, then we'll also say that these things are not yet done. And, there is no, we have no horse in this race. So people, in order to keep the spirit of not staying for more than an hour, I said that will be the much I can take. And I say thank you for all Chikema, Augustine Okpara, and Glady Oyabo, who joined us from the Rockville, Maryland, United States of America. Many of you, I do appreciate Adekunle Adoye, joining us. This is a very cosmopolitan platform. We have many Nigerians of all ethnic extractions and non-Nigerians as well. So if you do have any breaking news, any news that you may wish to share with us, things that you may want us to talk about, or even publishing, bear in mind that we have njenjemedia.com where we publish, that is the blog site. And we have people who work there who also are waiting on you to provide them with, your stories that they can publish. You can write us at either using info@njenjemedia.com, or you can call us on this number, WhatsApp only, or send us WhatsApp email. If you want to run advert and do advert with us at a discounted rate, please, by all means, we run adverts on our website, and we now can also run your business advert on this platform. On that note, I say good night and remain blessed. Bye for now. I am Mazes.